Hey everyone, TA Sam here, and I just want to walk you through a couple basic Word things. This is going to be the first video in an 8-part video series on Microsoft Word. We'll start all the way from downloading, just kind of opening it up today, all the way to creating beautifully, nicely, and neatly compact constructor report. And so first of all, we'll just show you the quick download for those of you who still need to do that. So if you go to the My Apps part of ASU, which you can get through your My ASU, all you have to do is search Microsoft. Here's Microsoft Office 365. There's a whole page here. You can hit the download button. Then they also have a link here, so you can click this link as well, and it'll kind of walk you through downloading. And so instead of me walking you through it, you can just kind of go through it on your own. You see they have everything you need here. And this will not only get you Microsoft Word, but it'll get you Excel, PowerPoint, I believe OneNote, and maybe a couple other etc. things if you really want them. You can look through that in your own time, but I'm not going to really go through that. Once you have Word downloaded, you'll see this will be the landing page. Just a couple quick things before we get started. You can go down to the options part down here, so you can also see your account over here. And then again, this is really beyond the scope of this video or even the video series, but there's a bunch of things in here. You can play around with it. Maybe most importantly, it might just be, if you want to put your initials and username just for yourself and change your layout. Anyways, going back, landing page, you'll see a couple different things. First of all, is creating a document, and we'll get more into this later. Blank document will be the first one you want to go to. You'll also see a recent list of all your files, any pinned things, anything shared with you, which we'll also get into. You can also go here to the new page, and they have a bunch of other, different things. You can look at, Office, the ones that you've created, which we'll get into. And then you can also hit the open to, go through any file on your computer. So for today, we'll start with the blank document. So you go here and you'll see, you get a blank Word document, and then you get a bunch of different tabs. So just in quick, file will bring you back to the screen we were just on. And you also have a couple other options. Home will be your main one used. This is where you'll play around with actually the text you're doing, the format of it, any styles that you have. Insert is really good for creating tables and figures, as well as if you need to insert an equation and any mathematical symbols. Draw, design. I really have never used this, so don't ask me. Layout is very good if you need to change the margins of your paper for specific formatting issues, or the orientation, and also breaks. We'll get into that, don't worry. References, we'll get into this as well. It's a very useful tab. Mailing, and I don't know, I put in the same thing as design. I don't really use it. Review is very good for, well, like I said, reviewing your document and also going through it with other people. View will just kind of change out a couple things. Maybe you want to put it into read mode, or you can even do like a continuous view in here. Splitting the window is very cool. I'll talk about that. Just in short, you can basically look at your document from two different viewpoints, which is very nice if you're trying to reference, maybe something you said in the introduction of your document and the conclusion. And then help, don't be afraid to use. There's a lot of cool stuff in here. And then Acrobat, I think, was a plugin I had. So going back, let's say we have our document here. Just a couple quick options. If you want to save, you can either hit Control S. There's a save button up here, as well as the undo button and the redo button. Don't be afraid to use those, but you can go File, Save As. Save will bring you to here, so you can either go to places that you visited today. You can go to OneDrive, which we'll also talk about in a later video. You can save it to your PC. Browse will just bring you into your File Explorer, and then you can choose where. I already created this and I have it locked and loaded, so I'm just going to go right to Word examples, and then you can see here other documents in the folder. And then we'll call this video 1. We'll save it there. And then if I make any changes, all I have to do is hit Control S. So that's again Control S, and it'll save automatically. Another useful thing is print. So I'm not sure if you have to print anything anymore. Don't ask me. But if you do need to print something, you can print it out here, and it'll bring up a bunch of different options. You can play around with those. Page setup, most useful is probably going to the paper and the layout. Oops, this is actually not the window I wanted it to be. So maybe you don't need to go to page setup. You can go 4 pages per sheet, which I think is actually really useful if you want to take notes. You can flip, and this is where your printer will have options, and that's where I thought I was going, so sorry about that. Or if you need to print it out in a landscape orientation for whatever reason, you could do it here. Another very useful thing, and I don't know if you noticed, the print option brought us to printing it to a PDF. And you can do that, but a quicker way to do it in Word is to go to Export. And this is what I do with all my assignments personally, is you can create an Adobe PDF. Again, I think this is a plugin that I had, so I don't know if you'll have it automatically. You can change the file type in case you need to go to a plain text or a rich format. Plain text is actually very useful for, you can import it pretty easily into MATLAB, by the way, if you have like a data set. But creating a PDF or an XPS is going to be the most useful. And so here it'll bring you to a PDF, and it'll bring you right where you want it, right where it's saved. And then you can export it as a PDF, and I think it's going to bring us up automatically. Oh, it did to another screen, and you can see there's a nice PDF of what we had in our document. And the only thing is, like, this is the reason that I do this, and I've heard it from other instructors. I don't know if I picked up on it as a TA yet, but very occasionally, and I've had this comment come back to me twice from professors, is that if you submit a Word document into Canvas, it can sometimes get, changed around or misconstrued. So it might change your like page layout a little bit. So, say you got a paragraph ending on one page and you start your next section on another page. It might either start the next section, originally on the page where it was ending, or it might carry out that last paragraph onto the next page, and then you basically have a whole blank page in your document. You can move around figures and stuff. I'm not sure if this was a Blackboard issue, and maybe Canvas, is fine. I just think it's better to err on the safer side, especially with larger reports, to always export as a PDF before you submit. But again, that's your choice. So we had saving up. Then the last thing I think for this one is going to be opening a document. So again, you can go, and this is where you also have hotkey. So Control S was for save, Control P will get you printing, and then Control O, Control O will get you opening something. Again, it's something that'll harp a lot throughout these videos. It's good to learn the hotkeys, and what a hotkey is if you press Alt, you'll see everything comes around. And so I want you all to work towards, and I'll try to do it with you towards a video or throughout these videos, is to get in the habit of using hotkeys. It'll just speed you up immensely. So for example, I know for exporting, where you don't have to click around, I know it's File EPA gets me to exporting. And so it just, speeds it up. So we can do Alt F to get to our File tab, and then we can see opening is up here. Same with creating a new document. So you can do, Alt F O, or just press Control O, and there will be opening, and you'll see, either a list of my recent documents that I've opened, or I can browse around. And so, I'll just hit Y5, and that'll bring up, just the blank document I made a little earlier. But anyways, so this is your introduction to Word. Look in the description. I'll try to add part 2 in. Part 2 is going to cover like a second introduction, so we're going to go through some of those tabs a little more closely, specifically the Home tab, and go through font sizes, paragraph alignment, things like that. And as always, like, subscribe, comment if you have any questions. I'll get back to you. And have fun with Word.